My heart is on kids right now. I have two boys and I work with kids all day, teenagers. And I run a Youth for Christ group after school, missionary kind of thing. And I spent like 8 years. I was not really brought up in the church. I spent a few years. My parents sent us to catechism and I don't know how much stuck. And then I spent 8 years in like a basketball ministry. And I was talking to a student today, and we had a long conversation. It was about some politics, some faith, and how they intertwined. And I'm in a school where there's a lot of liberal teachers, a lot of teachers that are very antagonistic to students. And he shared with me a couple stories about how they singled him out, and how he's heard of people singling other students out, and he's heard of students trying to single teachers out for their belief system when they believe in God. And that's just on my heart. And I'm listening to a podcast called Encouraging Christian Fathers, and I know about 75% of the kids that we bring up through the church will end up leaving. Now, that's a statistic. So as a country, if we are going to church as a family, 75% of them are going to fall away from the faith. College, high school, sometime. They're not going to be Christians when they leave our house. That's a hemorrhaging. That's a horrible number. And I'm not here to like point fingers at the church. It's us as parents. Like that, the parents are the ones that either pass on the faith or we don't. But ultimately it's the kids too. But they're coming into this world with nothing. And we are the ones kind of directing them. Like, what do you need to know? What is this world all about? How does it work? Treat other people like you want to be treated. The golden rule. And, do I get to do whatever I want? Do I get to lie, hit, and steal from friends in the playground? And should I be called out? And, they catch more than they hear too. So if they see us busybody all the time, or running for the dollar, or not spending time with them, they learn relationships aren't important. They learn that jobs must be important. That's all I know. That's what I know up close and personal and intimately. And we as grown-ups get to learn about God. We read His Word, and then we filter that out. We model it. We act on how He says in our circumstances. On a side note, to me, like, having a guidebook, having a playbook makes life so much easier. He's not going to tell you every single thing to do. He's not going to tell you what's my will, where should I move, who should I marry, what job should I take, what should I have for breakfast. And that's not the Bible. That's not the day-to-day. The Bible is the big stuff, the moral stuff, the decisions, the peace. And then when you have that, you can pass it on to your kids. You can have that peace that transcends understanding, and joy. And so how do we do that? How do we get these kids excited about God, interested in God? I have so much apathy in my classroom setting. It's amazing. And the biggest way to get people motivated is to go build a relationship with them. Just so that somebody outside of them kind of cares about whatever it is. And for me, it's usually some assignment or something, like to kind of have that banter, that back and forth, that connection, that talking, getting to know them a little, making it clear that I care about them, usually gets them motivated. They're kind of like, attaboy, and I'm taking off. They're taking off, and they're excited about whatever we just talked about. It's a great feeling. I get to do it daily. And I get to do it once a week, and with certain students about faith, from time to time too, when it comes up, when it's appropriate. But at home, we need to be able to engage in conversations and know the Word and have full, real world discussions. Kids want authenticity. As they get older, the model that we currently utilize, stick them in a youth group and grow up in their middle school and high school years, and then come out as 18 and they go to college and the world explodes. Boom! And and they have all these things at their fingertips that they've never been exposed to. We've told them to hush, keep your drives down, your passions, be on fire for Jesus. Well, I want to marry a girl. Well, I want to be held by a man. I want to feel security. I want these relationships. I want these friends. I want these fun physical activities. I want these dreams that I have in my head that maybe aren't just all about God. There may be things that I'm talented at that I want to go pursue. We should take all that and harness it and say, yeah, let's do it. Let's get out there in the real world and kind of live boldly. And that takes us doing it too. That takes us getting away from our work a little bit in America. We work so much, and making time for these extracurriculars where we go down to the local inner city and build connections that aren't just here's some food and then we leave, where our church family builds sustaining relationships with low-income kids or homeless or something that's not a short-term mission trip to Venezuela and you paint pictures and sing songs for a week and you come back never to see those kids again. Let's do something sustainable. Let's do something that is living on the edge. Let's do something that is engaging, that can transfer for a life in all these metropolitan areas where we can go and engage and rebuild the cities if we're in the burbs. And we're going to stay in the burbs for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and we can keep going down and helping these people out. And it's legit missionary work. We're a whole community, and there's no dividing line based on where the city stops and where the suburbs begin. Authenticity. We should embrace the discussions about sex. God made it. God put a desire in you. It's pretty clear since the beginning of the time. Men have wanted women. Women have wanted to be with men. Sex drives are there. Women wanted to be emotional fulfilled. It's pretty clear it's there. It shouldn't be chased away and shamed. We, parents, need to become comfortable and experts. How is it supposed to work? It's supposed to work in marriage. Sex is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be really fun. It's supposed to get you guys so close and interconnected that you can kind of lose yourself in your partner. And you kind of become one person. God said it pretty clearly. They become one flesh. And that's in union. So we should kind of get on board with that. So kids, I just feel like there's an excitement. We're losing them. We need to go where they are. I mentioned earlier that I was in a basketball ministry for 8 years. I went to catechism in middle school, and I couldn't tell you what I learned. I went to basketball ministry for 8 years, and I can tell you that I saw grown men from when I was 15 to 23. I saw grown men living out their walk. They took time away. Yeah, they wanted to play basketball, but they chatted with me, chatted with my buddies. How was life? What are you interested in? Talk girls a little bit, make sure you guys are treating them nice. You're not taking advantage of them. There was discussions. They were building relationships, and they were Christ-like. They weren't swearing. They weren't cussing. I could see them treating people great. And then when I went and played open gym at the high schools or the local rec centers, the kids cussing, the kids swearing, the guys that couldn't give up the dream that are 30 years old and they're pushing around 18-year-olds and swearing and wanting to start fights. It wasn't like that at the church. It was different. That's what I can tell you I learned. And that's what we need. We need to go seek them. There's a lot of kids with broken homes. They're not being sought out at all. They're lost. And the parents that do care, we can't fix it all, but we can try. And we can keep pouring into all the kids, all the friends. Invite them over. Open our house up. It's all about relationships. As I grew up, one thing stood out clear to me. As church elders, as pastors, as parents of friends that were believers, they cared about people. They made time for people, for me, for friends, for other kids that weren't believers. Invited them over, talked to them, and a lot of these guys were pretty wealthy. They worked hard. They knew when to shut it down, and they knew when to pour into people. It was amazing. And they poured a lot of their resources into their son's friends. And a handful of us know God now. So I encourage parents to do that. I encourage you to pour into those kids, build the relationship, and share the wisdom, share the truths. Not everything's okay. Go into the Word. What should we be doing in life? All right.